Whoa, buddy, put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere.
I don't understand.
Check out the MichaelDukesShow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
Welcome to the party, pal.
The Michael Dukes Show.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
Firearms Friday.
As Thomas Jefferson stated, it is the right and duty of the people to be at all times armed.
Say hello to my little friend.
I say that the Second Amendment is, in order of importance, the First Amendment. The right to keep and bear arms is the one right that allows rights to exist at all.
The Michael Dukes Show. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Firearms.
From my cold, dead hands.
Friday.
It's my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fighting, it's for fun.
Firearms Friday.
Firearms Friday, your chance to sound off on issues of a 2A nature right here on the Michael Dukes Show, broadcasting live across the state of Alaska on this, your favorite radio station and or FM translator, and live around the world on the internet at michaeldukeshow.com, as well as, of course, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, all the places. We're everywhere. We're worldwide, baby. We're ready to go, and we're diving into it today. We've got a loaded show today here. We're going to get ready and get started here in just a second about some happenings up this weekend in the Ninilchik area that will concern you 2A folks. And we're going to talk with Dick Hawkins about that here in just 1 second. And then today we're going to dive into that age-old debate, the debate that seems to rile up gun culture folks more than the Ford and Chevy debate, more than the 9mm versus 45 debate, more than anything else. We are going to talk about open carry. So gird your loins, because I'm sure people are going to get irate today, which is fine. I can handle it. I can take it. We're going to talk about that and see what's going on. Hello to everybody who joins us this morning in the chat room, including Daryl from Salcha. Wow, that's a big reach today. Hey, Daryl, thanks for coming in and joining us. We're also going to open up the phone lines here in just a bit for the gun Q&A, which is where we try to answer all the questions we can. This show is not for you if you're a gun person. This show is for the person in the middle, the gun curious, as we like to call them. They're not pro-gun, they're not anti-gun, but they have questions, and they don't want to go to a gun store and ask questions and look silly and do all that. So we're here to answer the questions. There's no such thing as a dumb gun question. That's what we're all about here. So we're going to answer questions as well, and then, of course, as always, at the end of the show, we will be finishing up with our friend Willie Waffle, who will give us the weekend entertainment review, including the latest on the Rust movie. You know what we're talking about, right? We know about that, so we're going to talk about that as well. All right, but before we get too far along here in my meanderings of my favorite topic and into my deep therapy session here, let's figure out what's going on here locally in the state. We're going to talk right now with Dick Hawkins, who is with the Ninilchik Senior Center. They're putting together something this weekend that if you're down in the South Central Peninsula, you may want to come in and participate in. And that's happening this weekend at the center in Ninilchik. Let's bring Dick Hawkins on board here this morning and see what he has to say. Good morning, Dick. How are you?
Good morning, Michael. How you doing?
It's another beautiful day, and it's raining, but it's a beautiful day in paradise still, right? We still call that a win. It's not snowing, at least.
Yes, it is. It's a fine day.
It's a fine day. All right, Dick, well, tell us a little bit. The Ninilchik Senior Center is putting on a show this weekend. You're going to have a lot of vendors and good 2A stuff and everything else. Tell us what's going on.
Well, we have our second annual gun show this weekend at the Ninilchik Senior Center. The doors open at 10 o'clock Saturday, close at 5, and on Sunday they open at 11 and close at 4. We'll have somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 vendors. It doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not as much as it was last year. I'll get into that in a minute. But most of them are local folks from around the Southern Peninsula. We'll have firearms. We'll have knives. Got one guy coming in with all his knives, and it should be a fun show. We got some folks that are cooking up some brats and some other good stuff to eat. And we've changed things up just a little bit from last year. And we've had quite a few flyers and posters around advertising. The advertising put out was $10 a day or $15 for both days. We're going to change that to an honorable donation to get in the door. And I'll explain, if you'd like me to, I'll explain why.
Yeah, sure. And first of all, I guess, tell us the donation is going to the senior center. This has helped us help support the community and everything else.
Yes, sir. All proceeds go to the senior center, or not all proceeds. I mean, if you come in and have a table and want to sell your firearms, you get to keep that profit. But last year we had the Alaska Gun Collectors Association brought several or quite a few vendors down. They're the ones that helped us organize and put on the show last year. And so we were in communication with them again this year. And we're expecting them to bring some vendors down and do the same thing they did last year, which was quite nice. They did a good job of setting up and that kind of thing. However, due to circumstances beyond our control, we got a call from them on Monday of this week saying, we can't get anybody to come down, so we're not coming down. And that threw us for a loop for a second. We spent about 30 seconds saying, oh, we got to cancel. The changing, we put out all these flyers. We put out ads on the radio. We already had 5 local vendors that wanted to come and get a table from us. So there's a committee of 3 that are running the show, and we decided, hey, we're going to do a show. Doesn't matter who comes to sell guns or show guns. We're going to do a show. And so that's what we're going with. I went around town in the Nilchik with my black magic marker and lined out the line that said sponsored by. And we decided, because of the fewer number of vendors that are going to be there, we decided we needed to change the structure of the fees for people to get in, and
Right.
the table fee for a vendor. And we're offering the vendors free access. Vendors don't have to pay anything to get a table.
Okay. And so are you still taking tables now? So if there's somebody that's got a collection or has been looking to offload some of their older firearms that they don't need anymore, want to thin out the herd, if they want to come down and set up a table, you're all about that?
Absolutely. They can give us a call. They can any time between now and probably 5 o'clock this afternoon. They can give us a call and call the Ninilchik Senior Center. And let me get you that number right quick. The number for the Ninilchik Senior Center is 567-3988.
567-3988. If anybody wants to participate as a vendor, private collector, or FFL, there at the Ninilchik Senior Center. And again, the bratwurst and everything else. So it's just a good community event to kind of come out there, and of course, come out to help support the senior center. Anything, any other special surprises? Any other vendors that stick out in your mind there, Dick?
Well, has nothing to do with guns, but has everything to do with Ninilchik. The Ninilchik Domestic Engineers are going to have a booth, and that's a organization folks in Ninilchik that sell. They make and sell jams and jellies and other kinds of that's all they make, I guess. But they also have jewelry and stuff like that. But they are an organization that raises money strictly for the kids in Ninilchik. In fact, this year they were able to present a scholarship to the one graduating senior at Ninilchik High School in the sum of $8,000. So
Wow.
that's it's a significant amount of money for a little organization in little old Ninilchik. So they'll be there selling their jams and jellies, and they're a fun group of folks anyway. So they'll be there, and there'll be one FFL for sure, and then several folks. You're exactly right. When we realized we only had 6 folks, I said to myself, I don't need all the guns that I have. Give me a tape, please.
Said no one ever said, I don't need all these guns. But yeah.
And then, of course, I get into my gun safe and start looking and says, "Dadgum, I haven't shot this one in a long time, but I could go shoot it, So
I could, yeah.
I've got probably a dozen different weapons that I'm going to be bringing down to let people see. And
well, I'll tell you what, when you go to a gun show, it's always, to me, whenever I go to a gun show, it's always more fun to visit the private collectors tables, because the FFLs have got, a lot of your standard fare and things that they bought from the manufacturers and everything. Right. But it's the private collectors that always have the weird, the odd, the cool kind of one of stuff that you never see anywhere else. And I definitely enjoy it when it's a higher ratio of private collectors to FFLs.
Right.
I can go to any gun store and see regular stuff. I want to see some of the weird stuff that people have pulled out of the back of the gun safe.
And in addition to regular stuff, but we're also having a gun raffle that we've been selling tickets for. We'll have tickets available Saturday and Sunday. The drawing is Sunday afternoon at 1:00. And we have 3, in my opinion, very special weapons that we're raffling off. The tickets are $20 a ticket, and we still have I think 70 or 80 tickets left. We're only selling 300, but we have for first place we're giving the first place draw an AR-15 that's got all the bells and whistles on it. It's got a full what do you call it? A rail where you can add stuff to it, and a
Picatinny rail.
Yep. Yeah. And then the second draw is going to be a 45 caliber mare's leg. And if you're familiar with what that is, it's actually a pistol. It's 12 inches long, but it's basically what Chuck Connor carried as a rifle in the Rifleman. That type of weapon. And
right,
then
it's a lever action. It's essentially a lever action, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lever action. It looks like it acts and looks like a rifle, but it's short enough that they call it a pistol. And then the third draw will be a small concealed carry size special edition 380 automatic.
Okay. Well, that sounds like that's $20 worth of fun there to see if we could get a chance to win that. And especially with only 3 tickets, you got a pretty good chance, or 300 tickets, you got a pretty good chance of getting it. And of course, all proceeds going to the Ninilchik Senior Center. Right. And tell us real quick here, Dick, what does the senior center provide for folks down there? I mean, what tell folks what you guys do. You're on the board there, so tell us what you guys do for that.
The senior center is open 5 days a week. They provide a healthy lunch for whoever comes in. We ask for a $8 donation for the meal, but if you don't have it, you come in and eat anyway. We are open from 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. There are always people coming in to ask for help with their Medicaid, Medicare, other kinds of paperwork, and the director and the other staff in the office are just phenomenal help. The senior center is open, and we have different events, different days of the week. We have a bingo afternoon, and then we have game days. Folks stay and stick around, play board games or card games. We have knitters that come in, and we have a sewing group that comes in, and every month they do a sew Saturday. So there's quite a few activities. You go by the senior center any day of the week, and you'll find somebody doing something in there.
It'll be fun. So if you want to support the senior center and have a good time while you're at it, get a good chance to see some good stuff, and maybe a chance to win some great guns, head on out to Ninilchik this weekend to the senior center, 10 to 5 on Saturday, 11 to 4 on Sunday. Tickets are by donation, so if you want to go in, drop a $10 bill in the bucket or whatever. It all helps go to support the senior center, and a good chance to see a lot of great stuff while you're there, and enjoy a good bratwurst on top of it as well. Anything else, Dick, before I let you go?
Can't think of it. Just looking forward to. I appreciate your time and being able to be on the show with you. It's a little early in the morning for me. God bless you for getting up and doing this. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing a big crowd on Saturday and Sunday.
It's the secret. It keeps me young, Dick. That's what it does. It keeps me young to get up at this early. It's painful, Dick. It hurts. It hurts every day. It is what it is. Well, this sounds like a fantastic opportunity. So, folks, again, 10 to 5 on Saturday, 11 to 4 on Sunday, the Ninilchik Senior Center. If you're up there, and if you want, again, to participate, maybe you need to clean out your if you want to clean out your fridge, your safe, and got stuff there that you don't need anymore, 567-3988. Give them a call before 5 p.m. today, and they'll get you set up with a table there so you can help support the great cause and meet some people. And it's at the Ninilchik Senior Center, which is where in Ninilchik?
The address, who knows? It's on it's on
It's a small town. Everybody knows where it is, right?
Signs up. You could turn on to Kingsley Road, and then turn on to Aspen Street, and it's down at the end of the Aspen Street. We'll have a sandwich board sign out on Kingsley Road, pointing the direction. So it's not going to. You come to Ninilchik, it's not hard to find.
It's not hard to find anything in Ninilchik. It's 66265 Aspen Avenue.
Oh, thank you.
66265 Aspen Avenue. All right. Well, Dick Hawkins, thank you so much for coming on board and joining us this morning. We appreciate it, and good luck with the weekend. And I hope you guys have a gangbuster day.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you coming on board. Thanks very much. All right. That brings us up to the first commercial break for this hour, and we're going to continue here in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. The Michael Duke Show, Common Sense, Liberty Base, Free Thinking Radio. We'll return in just a moment with a little bit more Firearms Friday goodness. Back with more right after this.
If you missed the show, you can listen to it on your time with Dukes On Demand. Oh, and it's free. Like America used to be. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay, one final bite at the apple, real quick for Dick to make sure if there was see if there's anything else that we missed. Dick, is that pretty much everything we needed today? We got all the info and everything out there.
As far as I can remember and think, yeah, we pretty much covered it. I'm sure I'll hear comments from the director and other folks that are involved with, why didn't you say this or why didn't you say that? But you know what?
They could have gotten up at 6 o'clock and been here. That's
I'm getting old and starting to forget things, and so that's just come on out. 10 o'clock on Saturday. We'll have some fun things. I'm looking forward to seeing what's there because it's going to be different than what it was last year.
Yeah,
and
no, that's good.
Exciting.
I've put on a lot of gun shows over the years, and there's all, like I said, it's always my favorite tables are always the private collector tables because they always have some weird stuff. I mean, there's always something that's, you know, odd or unusual or one of a kind. I've seen some one of a kind guns that you'll never see again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
To tell you the truth, I've got a couple of weapons. My brother, who passed back in 2019, but he was a serious gun collector. He had some guns that I got after he passed, but he had some guns that foreign made, and it would have cost big bucks for him to get any ammunition for them. And I'm looking at these, and they don't no cartridges that I have fit them, even though that most of them are 7.62 NATO round, but the shell casings are different sizes. And so if somebody's looking for something that they just want to hang on the wall, I've got a couple of those too.
Wall hangers.
Yeah.
It'll always make it. Or if you're a reloader and can get the casings, it could make your own. There you go. If you can roll your own, that's the kind of stuff you want. So,
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dick's going to empty out his good stuff out of the safe as well. So it's another good reason to go out there and enjoy it. All right, Dick. Well, thank you so much for coming on board. I appreciate it, and we look forward to talking with you again. Thanks for coming on the program today.
See you there tomorrow or Sunday.
All right, thanks much. I appreciate it. Dick Hawkins, Dick Hawkins, our guest here on the program for today. All right, that brings us back to you and me, baby. You and me. You ready to go? For those of you who aren't old, The Rifleman was a TV show. Wow, that makes me feel. I mean, The Rifleman was before my time, but I've seen episodes of it. I mean, I'm not, I don't live in a cave. I do. Also, the Mayor's Lake, of course, is that was Steve McQueen's big deal, right? In the what was the name of that? Track Down. That was Steve McQueen. He was in that. Wanted Dead or Alive. And of course, The Rifleman. Oh, and Rooster Cogburn. Didn't Rooster Cogburn have a mare's leg as well? Or maybe his was full size. I can't remember now. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe that's the part where I get old and I can't remember. Anyway, it's some good stuff. Oh, David's got the real rundown here on how to get there. Oils well to Kingsley, left on Kingsley, right on Aspen. Senior Center's right at the end of the road. There you go. Or if you've got a phone, you could just say directions, Ninilchik Senior Center, and it'll tell you right where you need to go. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, kimchi sausage, Frank. I'd like to know when my next order is arriving. I want to know when my next order is arriving of the kimchi sausage. That's what I want to know. And how long does it stay fresh? How long does it stay fresh? Because if I get a couple, I'll want to savor them out. Do I freeze them? Do I leave them in the fridge? How long do they last in the fridge? Because the last ones didn't last long. But yeah, I want to know. Kimchi sausage, delicious. It's delicious. All right. let's get back to it, shall we? We're ready to dive into this. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. Like, share, subscribe. Oh, somebody jumped on the phones already. Ho, ho, ho. All right, phone calls reign supreme.
What the hell is an assault weapon? Does that mean that if we hurt your feelings, you should consider the Michael Dukes Show assault radio? Okay, we can accept that. Here's Michael Dukes. Kind of a dick, but somewhat funny.
That's just mean. I am not kind of I'm a nice guy. That's what everybody tells me. Let's continue on here with this Firearms Friday. We got more discussions and everything else. But before we go any further, we got a phone call. So I guess we just start off with the phone call because, as you know, on Firearms Friday, phone calls reign supreme. That's how we do it around here. We love to take phone calls. We love to interact with you on this beautiful day. Let's jump over to it and see who's out there and what they have to say. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Closet Monster. It's the bunny lady.
Hello, bunny lady.
Dick forgot something very important. We have the gazebo.
The gazebo.
All right. Say you and the missus are going. The wife doesn't want to go. It's like, Harold, you don't need another gun. Go to the gazebo. We have everything, and it supports the senior center. We have things for the house, the kids, clothing, books, movies, faucets, lighting fixtures. I just thought I'd throw that in.
The gazebo. Okay. I thought that first of all, the Danilchik Domestic Engineers, that is an amazing name. I just have to say that. The Danilchik Domestic Engineers are going to be there, so the ladies can get their jams and everything else on. But now they can go to is the gazebo in the same location?
It is on the corner of the highway in Kingsley.
Okay. All right. So that's another
All
way.
right. It looks like a greenhouse.
Right.
It's running forever, and it's all by donations, including us help.
Okay.
And it's just a marvelous place.
All right. Sounds like a good place. And I guess the proceeds there going to help the senior center as well. So stop by the gazebo / greenhouse right there. I've seen it. I never knew what it was. I kept seeing the octagonal greenhouse when I went by. Like, that's kind of cool. What's there? It's got stuff in it. What is it? And I've never stopped.
There is so much in there. It is amazing how much we've managed to stock that.
All right. Well, good.
But every single dime does go to the Nilchik Senior Center, and the girls make some great jam. They even make sugar-free jam for the diabetics out there.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like a good time to be had by all. Thank you very much. I appreciate you giving us the heads up on it. Thanks for calling in and joining us this morning. I mean, you had me at jam, right? You had me at jam. It's going to be good. All right. Let's get going on here. I did want to mention that for those of you who are listening up in Fairbanks and in the surrounding Fairbanks areas, the radio auction will be going on. The Alaska radio auction will be going on starting at 8 a.m. this morning. Well, 8:04, I guess, or whatever it is. Well, let me look. I think it's 8:04 this morning. Things are going to get started. We're going to kick things off. I'll be auctioneering all kinds of stuff for you folks down on the peninsula. If you want pieces and parts and everything else, you can go over to AlaskaRadioAuction.com. AlaskaRadioAuction.com starting at 8 a.m. and get a chance to save hundreds of dollars on stuff that is that is good and useful. And, you want certificates for next time you go to Anchorage to go eat. They've got that. I mean, all kinds of, we're going to have a lot of stuff in there. It's going to be great. So that's going on at 8 o'clock this morning, right at 8:04, right after the show this morning. We'll be jumping into it, and we'll be ready to go. 2 hours of radio goodness. It'll be followed by another 2 hours of radio goodness. That might be overselling the first 2 hours here this morning, if you want anything. All right. Some of the big headlines that we've got around the country right now. I want to get into this debate about what I'm calling the great debate. Yeah, it's not Ford versus Chevy. It's not 45 versus 9mm. It's concealed carry versus open carry. And I'm not saying that you should. I'm not saying that one should be legal and one should be illegal. I'm saying everything should be legal. But the question is for you as a gun owner, as a responsible gun owner, what do I think you should do? And this is all about me. This is all about my opinion today. So we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But before we go any further, I always want to make the point that just in case you have forgotten, criminals don't care about your laws. I just thought I'd point that out. The criminals, by their very definition, don't care about your laws, whatever the law is. Don't rob, don't steal, don't murder, don't rape, don't hurt people, don't, all those things. They don't care how many laws there are. If they've decided to do something bad, they're going to do it. And if you want to see just how ridiculous some of these laws are and how they've reached the point of ridiculousness, look no further than sunny California, Orange County, where they have some of the strictest gun laws in the country. But did that stop anything? 3 students of Vista View Middle School in Fountain Valley were detained after allegedly bringing a gun and ammunition to campus. The Fountain View police responded to the school to investigate a report of a student in possession of a firearm. They searched the backpack of 3 sixth graders. How old do you have to be in 6th grade? Like 10 years old? Right? 12 years old? 3 sixth graders, and discovered a semi-automatic handgun along with ammunition. It was not an active shooter incident, but, they had the gun. How the students obtained the weapon are unclear, but they did have it. Even with all the gun laws that they have in California, they still got it. But not like that's the first time. 2 weeks before that, a student in Mariana Del Rey ran from a classroom after a gun in their backpack discharged. The Los Angeles Unified School District assured parents that the students and the staff are safe and that there's no imminent threat. The Zoom meeting was held to inform parents about the incidents, during which concerns were raised about the lack of backpack searches at the school. A parent expressed her frustration, saying, even though no one was hurt, there should be more safety precautions. How much deeper safety precautions do you need? And this happens all the time. This is not just like it happens every now and then. According to the Los Angeles Unified School District, there were more than 1,100 incidents involving firearms between 2022 and 2023. Well, they were weapons. Not all of them were a gun, but a lot of them were a gun. Within the first month of the 2024-25 school year, at least 4 guns were discovered on high school campuses, at least one of which was also equipped with a large magazine. It was also illegal under California law. Again, you got all these draconian gun laws, you got all these things that are going to stop people, and it just goes to show you yet again that the kids are preventing you the kids are defeating your enormous laws, that's that's it right there. That apparently is the whole schlemiel. Criminals don't care about your laws. I just wanted to point that. I just thought I would make that point blatantly clear. They just don't care. All right, we got to go. Back with more. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. We'll be back with more right after this.
We're broadcasting live through a series of tubes.
Allowing all of these entities to provide streaming stuff going on the internet.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. Sorry. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay, I see Fred is on the line. Fred will be to you here in just a minute. Matt and Nicole. I'm never sure which one it is. When people have got the two names, I'm never sure which one I'm talking to. But Matt and Nicole, what needs to happen is education. My kids have learned all the safety and proper handling. They also know they're never to touch one of our firearms unless they're given permission. Remove the taboo, educate the kids. That's what I did. I took all the kids out very early and showed them very much how firearms works, what they do, and the damage that can be done. I mean, I put jugs of blood colored water down there and said, this is what happens. Boom. If you accidentally use, this is why you don't, it's good, blah, 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 blah. Never had a problem. In the early years, I'd never even had a gun safe. I just, that's just how it was, and never had a problem with any of it. So, let's see. Vanessa said, I just heard Pops here in Homer. It will be all over Facebook soon. It's a lot of Pops going on out there. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. I'm scrolling backwards here to see what anybody said. I've solved the open carry debate. You go hybrid. You conceal carry or EDC, then you open carry in a non-retention holder with a single round chambered. Then statistically speaking, whoever's attacking you, stealing your gun, has increased their chances of getting shot. I don't think you should do that. I'm just saying. Oh, man. Jeffrey said, I still haven't got a response about the powder-coated projectiles I'm finding at the range. Really? I didn't know anything about that. Powder-coated projection? That's an interesting deal. Never even heard of that. All right. I'm still going through some of these comments. See what else. See what else you got. Gordon says, my grandfather had a phrase, kill the curiosity. Yeah. Don't make it taboo. Don't make it, you show them, you educate them, you let it, you don't make it so verboten. Maybe they should just outlaw crime, says David. Oh, wait. I knew that argument was lost the minute that they said that they had a illegal drug problem in prison. Right? When they said that they had a problem with drugs in prison, I figured out that was a lost cause at that point. Just not going to happen. All right. Everybody's getting very, very specific here about what they're what they should carry. Although Jeannie, I think, has got a pretty good she's got a pretty good outlay here. Open carry in the woods, chest holster, concealed carry in public with a holster that has a retention feature and you train with it regularly. If you're going to open carry, retention is a must. Absolutely a must. But there you go. Matt says, Greg and Matt. Greg said in response to Jeff's comment about the powder-coated bullets, He said they're faster out of the barrel. And Matt said the coated projectiles are for Glocks. They're to protect the specific rifling Glock used. Hard cast ammo will prematurely destroy your barrel. I never heard of that. Never heard of that. Not unusual, but that I haven't heard of something, you know. Yeah. Yeah, never. Willie said, never had a safe until the boys were grown. The boys grew up with them. Yeah, I mean, I never had a gun safe when the kids were younger. They just knew. I mean, I literally took some of my kids out to the range at 5 and 6 years old, and we had discussions and we talked about it. And, you know, my youngest son shot his first rifle when he was 6. Because, I mean, with my help, he didn't do it by himself. But I wanted them to see. I wanted them to get that out of their system. Yeah, it's a tough situation. Greg said, hence. Greg says, hence I have no Glocks. I didn't know that was even a thing. Is that the newer generation Glocks? Because I'd never heard that they had to have coated, you know. That's weird. That's weird. All right, we're coming back on it here. We're about to rejoin. Fred is on the line. We're going to talk with him first, and then we're going to get. I'm going to get to this thing today. I guarantee you. We're going to talk about this open carry debate. Here we go. The Michael Duke Show.
What the hell's an assault weapon? What isn't? If I assault you with a penguin, doesn't that make it an assault weapon? Does this mean that if we hurt your feelings, you'd consider the Michael Dukes Show assault radio? Okay, we can live with that. Here's Michael Dukes.
Okay. All right. It's fine. Hello, welcome back to the program. It is Firearms Friday. Are you ready to dive into this? Well, I am. But first, phone calls supreme. Fred is in Rhode Island. Let's see what Fred has to say on this beautiful Friday morning. Good morning, Fred. What's on your mind, my friend?
Hey, good morning, Michael. You know, this whole thing with you just mentioned the thing with the Glock. I know what they're talking about. It. I've never heard of powder-coated bullets. That's. I think they're talking about the nylon lined bullets. But then again, what they're talking about with those polygonal rifle firearms like Glocks and H&K and a few others. A couple of Walters, you know, have that type of rifling. They don't want you to shoot a lead through it because the lead's too soft and it can peel off and stick to the barrel, and eventually you're going to get a lead buildup, a soft lead buildup inside the barrel. And that just increases the pressure, and eventually it could cause some damage over a period of time. So what they're talking about is full metal jacket. They either a what do they call it? The copper coating, the electrolytic plated,
the molybdenum,
or a full metal jacket going through that type of rifling. That's what they're talking about. I never heard of powder coated. That's a new one on me.
Yeah.
But anyway, the reason why I called is because of you mentioned these kids over in California bringing guns to school. You know, the whole and same thing applies with the way you deal with criminals, and as far as in the same type of a scenario. Deterrent. You need legal deterrent to keep them from doing it. And you set the example. Kid brings a firearm to school, gets caught. You know what? It should be 1 year suspension from that school, and he should go to a special school, a detention center, or a juvenile detention center or something like that. 1 year at that facility, and that will definitely he won't make that mistake twice. I guarantee you that he will never make that mistake twice.
He will not do it again.
And everybody who knows him, sees him, is aware of the situation. Is going to see that, and that's they're going to say, well, if that happened to them, that could happen to anybody, including me. So I'm definitely not going down that road.
Yeah.
We used to have a thing before. I guess human nature and just nature in general, animal nature. Is you have a deterrent. You want to keep seagulls off the airport runway. How do you do it? They go out and they get a loudspeaker and this recorded of one seagull being not really tortured, but he's screaming. He's really in a lot of pain. He's in a lot of fear, a lot of threat. and they make a hell of a noise, make a hell of a racket.
Right.
And they play that over and over again as they go up and down the runway. The birds hear that, and they just take off to like three time zones down the road just to get out of there. And the same thing applies. You make an example, they're going to follow it. People will say, "That's not for me," and you're going to see it. Now, certain ones you're not going to get everybody, but you're going to get the vast majority of it. I think if you do that.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. Look, the problem is they've got kids without parents. I mean, and the whole point of this was, one, criminals are going to break the law. I'm not necessarily saying these kids are hardened criminals, but it just, again, shows the fallacy of somehow how a law is going to be this magical, mystical shield that's just going to prevent people from doing what they need, doing what they want to do. That's not how it works these days, right?
Well, gun control has nothing to do with safety. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has all to do with control.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just how much control can we push over on the general public, and how much power can we attain, how many rights can we violate to gain more control. This is what it boils down to. It has nothing to do with safety. Whoever gives you that line, it's all about the children. It's all about safety. It's a load of crap.
Right. No, I agree. It is that's been part of the problem. It is about control. It's about telling people that, they want to protect us from us, yada, yada, yada. But the bottom line is that it is about control. 110% on that for sure. So, go ahead.
Deterrence the way to go to prevent the problem from getting worse.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you on that. And that's the thing. We've gotten so good at, blaming the tool instead of the person, right? Johnny, who was just a perfect angel, who, was all this stuff, but Johnny got a hold of a gun, and then Johnny became a thug, right? Then Johnny held up a liquor store, or Johnny did some home invasion or something. No, Johnny was always a thug. Johnny was always, that tool just gave him the opportunity to express that power that he had before. Johnny was always a thug. This is just how it worked out.
You're absolutely right. You absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. But like I say, I think if they see that it doesn't work, it's only going to create problems. It's only going to create a lot of pain and suffering for others to witness. I think that it would definitely do a lot to slow a lot of this nonsense down.
Yeah.
As far as without going to the legislature, more gun laws, more control, more nonsense, more excuses to develop more gun laws. And I think that would work. I think that has to be the answer. I can't think of anything else.
No, you got to have the punishment must fit the crime, and you've got to hold the person responsible, not the tool, not the whatever else. You've got to hold the person responsible for what's going on. I totally agree with that. All right. Well, Fred, thank you so much for calling in this morning. It's good to talk with you, my friend. I appreciate you coming on board for Firearms Friday, and we will catch you. We'll catch you next week.
All right. Take care and have a good week.
Thanks so much. 319, because I hadn't even advertised the phone number yet. 319-527-3864. If you want to call in this morning and be part of it, let me just open up those phone lines for those of you who don't know what it is. 319-527-3864. Any firearms related topic is fair game. We love to chat with you and see what you guys have to say, what you want to talk about. We would love to be part of it with you. Just feel free to smile and dial, folks. Let's get that going on, shall we? Again, 319-527-3864. You can also drop me an email. The email address is me@michaeldukeshow.com. me@michaeldukeshow.com. If you want to if you want to come on in and be part of it. So there's a couple things. There's a couple things that I would love to talk about. Nothing is more satisfying than, it's tragic and satisfying at the same time, but nothing is more satisfying than seeing a story of an armed citizen being able to defend themselves and others against a criminal. Now, when somebody is killed, that's still a tragedy. Yes, even if it's a criminal, because I'm sure he had a mom and dad or a brother and sister or a wife or kids or something. So there is some tragedy there. But at the same time, it's satisfying to see, one, a criminal get their comeuppance on the spot, right? And two, to be vindicated by people who decided that they were, going to protect themselves. Police in Philadelphia say a man who just robbed a Dunkin' Donuts store in the Mayfair neighborhood was shot and killed early Tuesday morning by an armed citizen who arrived at the shop just as the robber and his accomplice were fleeing the scene. The donut shop was the last stop for a pair after allegedly committing several armed robberies just hours before. So they were on a robbery spree. They believe the man and another man had robbed 2 gas stations earlier in the night before descending on the Dunkin' Donuts for a third round. That night began when they held up a 7-Eleven and then 2 different 7-Elevens. And then they went to the Dunkin' Donuts and held up the cashier as well as a bystander who'd stopped for coffee on his way to work. That man's brother arrived just as the robbers were fleeing and yelled at the men, dressed in ski masks, to stop. He followed him down the back alley. One of the alleged robbers pulled a gun and shot at him, and the bystander shot back, killing the robber. To which I guess I would say mischief managed. That's, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Now, I don't know if I would chase the robbers down or not at that point, but again, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's what happens. An armed society can prevent those kind of things from going. When they can rob with impunity, their third robbery of the night. It's illegal to rob, by the way. I just wanted to point that out. It's illegal to be an armed robber. But when they have done it 3 times in one night, there was a lot of justice that was needed there. And I guess justice occurred. That's what it's about. Those are the kind of stories that I used to look for. I remember looking at the armed citizen in the American Rifleman. I remember reading those stories because they made me feel that something was right in the world when people were able to fight back. All right, we're going to continue. Up next, open carry or not. Okay. Let me go over here. David says he happens to be in Vegas. Oh, then you probably heard all about this. We're going to talk about it here in just a second. Greg says, geez, when I was in high school, we all carried rifles and shotguns depending on the season that was open. Just left them in the rack in the back window. That was in California in 1980. I know, right? I mean, it was never a big deal. Chris said, wait, no cops at the Dunkin' Donuts? I know, right? I find that story a little hard to believe, that there were no cops at the Dunkin' Donuts. Anthony says, any firearm that requires me to sprinkle baby powder on its rounds like it has diaper rash is a no-go on principle for me. Well, I don't shoot lead bullets usually. I shoot jacketed bullets, so maybe that was why I never really, that's why I never really thought it was a big deal. No, powder coating is a ceramic coating that is in powdered form. You stick it to a piece of metal through electrical charge, and then you bake it. Like you charge the metal and you spray the powder like out of a paint gun, and it coats the metal, and then you bake it at 500 degrees or something, and it melts it to a smooth, flat surface, like a ceramic coating. It's it's very cool. Powder coated stuff is very, very cool. But powder coating bullets would be a very tedious process. I can't imagine. Maybe somebody's buying them. Maybe somebody's doing it themselves, or maybe somebody's been buying them. I don't know. But we'll see. Jeffrey says he's finding orange and blue. Maybe they were Bronco fans. I don't know. It should impress you that I happen to know that the Broncos colors are orange and blue. That should be the most impressive thing of today. Or is that the Dolphins? Or both? But that should impress you that I actually knew that, okay? You guys know me. That should be the most impressive thing you heard today. Chasing them down, says Matt, that's not going to be good for when the case is reviewed. Chasing down typically means the threat was no longer a threat and you are now the aggressor. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know as I would necessarily chase them down. The armed citizen possessed a valid concealed carry license and as of yet has not been charged with any crime. If the owner did fire back at the robber, she clearly would have been justified in using deadly force to protect himself from harm. And from a legal standpoint, he should be in the clear. Should he have chased the robbers as they were fleeing from the crime scene, though? This is Cam Edwards. Should they have chased the robber? Again, from the legal perspective, there's nothing wrong from doing so, but most of us are taught to avoid conflict whenever possible when we're carrying a firearm. Running after guys who just held up the donut shop may have been pure instinct instead of a thought-out decision, but it also put him at risk of getting shot. So, but at the same time, they'd already committed 2 other robberies that day. So, he didn't know that. But, it's, at least one of them won't be committing any more robberies, I guess. That's the, there's no guarantee that these guys wouldn't have hurt future victims. So, I guess it's a gut check call that you have to make at that point. But we'll see. We'll see. That's it. All the jelly-filled donuts. They were all the cops apparently were at the Krispy Kreme instead of the Dunkin' Donuts. Either one. Either one. A donut is a donut. Donuts are good. All donuts are good. Tactically speaking, chasing someone gives them the advantage. So no, not a sound move, says Jeannie. Yeah, no, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah. Tough situation. Tough situation there. All right. I think I'm all caught up. I think I've hit all the comments and questions this morning. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? You ready to go? We're going to dive into this thing. Hour 2. How did we get to hour 2 so quickly? And then we've got 2 hours after that. I'm going to leave the stream up. If you want to keep listening on the stream, I'm going to leave the stream up for the on-air radio auction. There's plenty of stuff out there. If you like things in the Fairbanks, Anchorage, Wasilla, Matsu area, and some of it down here on the peninsula as well. If you got friends and relatives coming, I know they've got certificates to Ocean Shores. They've got some certificates there, and some of the KOA campgrounds. So if you got friends and relatives, you may want to tune in and listen that are coming, because you get a chance to get them some room nights and everything else. It's going to be good stuff. 8 a.m. AlaskaRadioAuction.com. All right, we're going to continue. Here we go.
Whoa, buddy, put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere.
I don't understand.
Check out the MichaelDukesShow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
Welcome to the party, pal.
The Michael Dukes Show.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
Firearms Friday.
As Thomas Jefferson stated, it is the right and duty of the people to be at all times armed.
Say hello to my little friend.
I say that the Second Amendment is, in order of importance, the First Amendment. The right to keep and bear arms is the one right that allows rights to exist at all.
The Michael Dukes Show. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Not be infringed. Firearms.
From my cold, dead hands.
Friday.
Here's my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fighting, it's for fun.
Firearms Friday.
Firearms Friday. Your chance to sound off on issues of a nature right here on the Michael Dukes Show. Good morning, my friends, and welcome back to the program. Hour 2 of the big radio discussion, and it's going to be fantastic for this hour. We got a lot of stuff to cover, and not a lot of time to do it. The first hour just went like lickety split. I want to get into the big debate. The big debate in the it's the debate that's guaranteed to ruffle some feathers in the gun community. And no, I'm not talking about 9mm versus 45. I'm not talking about Ford versus Chevy. I'm not talking about the Yankees versus the Sox. I'm talking about open carry versus concealed carry. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. But before we get to that, I want to remind everybody who's listening to the program that at 8 a.m., 8:04 a.m. to be precise, this morning, the stations up in the Anchorage and Fairbanks area will be broadcasting the Alaska radio auction. I will be the auctioneer. And folks down here, you guys will be well, you're going to have to listen to my stream at michaeldukeshow.com. We're going to carry the auction in the future, but we just didn't this time. The Alaska radio auction is an awesome opportunity for you to find stuff that you'd love to have for pennies on the dollar. They've got all kinds of stuff, hotel rooms, charters, restaurants, certificates for half price. It's going to be amazing. The website goes live at 8 a.m. at alaskaradioauction.com, and you can go check it out. They've also got some big ticket items. It's going to be great. So I'll be going through everything that's up and available at alaskaradioauction.com here starting directly at 8 a.m. Just get ready for that if you're up in the interior, and you can be. We'll be ready. We'll be ready. We'll be ready to go over all that stuff starting at 8, and we'll be doing that for 2 hours. Now this stream up, if you want to continue on, stream is available at michaeldukeshow.com if you want to go listen to it while we do the auction. But if you and they've got stuff down here on the peninsula. I know I saw some certificates for Ocean Shores. I saw some certificates for the KOA campgrounds, and I think there's some charters and stuff in there. All kinds of stuff. You can go check it out. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity for you to save thousands of dollars while you are doing the things you love. I mean, and if you got friends and family, some of you don't have. Brian was like, friends? What are those? I know some of you don't have friends. That's okay. That's okay. You can go out there and do it. They've got Homer Inn and Spa. They got packages there. They got Copper River fishing trips. They've got, just all kinds of stuff. Alyeska Resort. If you're planning on going up to Anchorage from the peninsula or down to Anchorage from Fairbanks, they've got some stays and they've got some restaurants and all kinds of stuff. So Go, fly, be free. Check it out. AlaskaRadioAuction.com. It's going to kick off at 8 a.m. and we'll be good to go. All right. That was all the housekeeping that I had to do. We are ready to go. Let's talk a little bit about open carry. This has been a problem amongst the gun community members for many years. Now, I know I have open carried, not very often, but occasionally I will. If I'm in the woods, I'm open carrying, right? I'm not worried about concealed carrying in the woods. But out amongst the populace, there's a lot of problems with open carry. I'm not saying it should be illegal. I want to make that clear right from the get-go. I'm saying you have to take some real precautious measures if you are going to open carry, because it is a lot different than if you are than if you are concealed. If nobody knows you have a firearm, hey, that makes life pretty good and easy, right? And now we're seeing more instances of where people are, when you strap a gun on, it's not like it's a laser shield, right? It doesn't just automatically and mystically protect you. Although that's the way some people treat it, including an incident that happened in Memphis, Tennessee recently. Colio Noir he's been going rampant on this, and he had a whole breakdown on this. This happened just the other day. Just the other day, I was watching this video, and then not 3 days later, another incident occurred. But let's start with the first incident in Memphis. Colio Noir breaks this down for us. It's some good stuff.
All right, let me set the stage. You're about to watch a video of a woman in Memphis walking into a gas station convenience store with a gun, just casually sitting in her back pocket. Then out of nowhere, a man walks right up behind her, snatches the gun, and takes off like it's GTA 6. She follows him out, and what does he do? He turns around and points the gun at her. Yeah, so let's roll that footage. Okay, here she is walking into the store. The gun right in her back pocket. No holster, no retention, just vibes. Now, here comes this dude. Watch him. He spots it, snatches the gun like he's done this before, and then bolts. She follows him outside. He turns around, gun raised, her gun that is. Now she stops. She knows at this point this is real. And that could have been everything right there. In the year of our Lord 2025, why on God's green earth are people still carrying guns in their back pocket?
This is, and this is an egregious example of it. You guys on the radio obviously can't see the video, and well, that was just the audio of it anyway. But literally, this woman just had the gun stuffed into the back pocket of her jeans, with the handle with the grip sticking out, and she's just blithely not paying attention to anything. And this young thug just walks in, sees it, does a double take. Now, one of the things that I noticed in the video that Noir, I don't think he made a comment on, he didn't mention that I remember in the video, this guy had blue nitrile gloves in his hand. You know what I'm talking about? Like surgical, like rubber gloves. Like he was carrying them in one hand. Like, were you going to be shoplifting? Was that the whole point? I mean, I don't know what's going on. But he did. He just blithely sees her, does a double take, walks right up to her, snatches the gun out of her back pocket, turns around and walks out the door, happy as you please. So that was the first instance of what was going on. He goes on to talk about, in that video, about what you need. If you're going to open carry, what do you need to do?
If you're going to open carry, fine. But do it with a holster that has retention. Something that doesn't let someone just walk up and yank it out like a damn Happy Meal toy. And even then, if someone does try to take it, you better be ready to fight for it, because they can't yank it out. Now they're going to try to beat it out of you. Have you trained for that type of situation? Have you ever practiced weapon retention in a struggle? Or are you just playing fantasy scenarios in your brain?
That's the thing. Again, most people are like, I think they strap the gun on and think, I'm done. Now I'm safe. Don't, now it's safe. Now it's finally safe. I got a gun. It's there for everybody to see. They'll see how big and bad I am, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's not a laser shield. It's not a mystical totem that protects you. And I would argue from a tactical standpoint, again, I want to make it clear, I'm not calling for to making it illegal. I'm not saying that people shouldn't be allowed to open carry. I want to make that perfectly clear. I'm saying as a practical, law-abiding, thoughtful, responsible gun owner, you probably shouldn't do it unless you absolutely have to. There's reasons for that. We'll get into that here in a second. But you shouldn't do it because one, it makes you an immediate target if somebody sees you. I mean, this guy did the double take coming through the front door. He was like, whoa, opportunity, right? If he had bad intentions with his own gun, and she had been the least bit aware, she would have been the first target, right? So you got to pay attention to this kind of stuff. Then it happens 2 days later, 3 days later, in Las Vegas, Nevada. Bad juju all around.
It's a Las Vegas tragedy making headlines across the country tonight. A man who police say was acting erratically inside the AutoZone store on East Charleston at Maryland Parkway shoots and kills a man with the victim's own gun. Police say the victim exercised his lawful ability to open carry that firearm, which the suspect was somehow able to grab and then just started shooting. Good evening, and thank you for joining us at 6. I'm Latoya Silman.
And I'm Dana Wagner in for Jim tonight. So while we wait for Metro detectives to reveal more about what led to the shooting, many people are asking questions about Nevada's open carry law, especially those from states where it's against the law. News 3's Stu Wolford joins us live here in the studio to break it down. Steve?
Well, that's right. So, I mean, first off, I find it interesting that the journalists here, the TV commentators, immediately say, well, this is going to bring into question our open carry laws, especially for people from places that it's not legal. First of all, why do you give two craps about people who don't live in your state or who came from places where it was not legal? This is part of the problem, by the way. If this goes on where open carry becomes an issue where people are having their guns taken, it will be a bludgeon used against Second Amendment advocates. So I'm not saying that that's right. I'm just saying expect it to happen because you can hear it even in the tone of voice of these news anchors as they talk about this, especially this guy. I love this.
Well, that's right. Believe it or not, 46 states allow the open carry of a firearm, meaning the weapon is in plain view.
Believe it or not, like crazy people, like real people wouldn't.
Believe it or not, 46 states allow the open carry of a firearm.
So, I mean, believe it or not, it's just shocking. Anyway, sorry, let's get back to the story. I don't want to sidebar too much here.
31 of those states, including Nevada, allow open carry without a permit. For some, it's a matter of self-defense. Others say they're exercising their Second Amendment right to bear arms. So,
and I think that's a legitimate use of open carry. If you're going to, I'm doing it to exercise my Second Amendment rights, more power to you. Okay, I get that. But understand that there are consequences and there are, factors that you need to think about when you do open carry, right?
Yes, in Nevada, you can carry a gun in plain sight, but should you?
As I go to retail places, restaurants, could even be retail stores.
Jeff Margetta is an educated gun owner.
And I see people open carry and they do not watch their surroundings at all.
This is the primary problem here. This goes back to the Memphis situation where this woman had this gun stuck in her back pocket and she was blithely ignoring the entire store around her. It's on her butt, right? She's halfway bent over the front counter. So it's right there for everybody to see. She's not looking over her shoulder. She has zero situational awareness about what's going on. And she has no retention. It's literally just sitting by the force of gravity in her back pocket. This is the number one thing for people to remember if you're going to open carry. Well, I mean, we got retention, we got all these other things, but again, the one thing is situational awareness. If you're going to put a billboard on yourself that says, I am armed, you best be in condition yellow all the time. All the time. Like you should be, you should be paying close attention to everything that's happening around you all the time. Because now you've painted a sign on yourself that says, I have a gun. Would you like to take it? And if you're just kind of blithely not paying attention, that's where this kind of stuff absolutely can go bad wrong. We're going to continue with this here in just a second. We'll continue this discussion. I'm sure we're going to make some people upset with some of the things that I say, but that's okay. That makes my day. We're going to continue. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. Back with more right after this.
Running on 100% pure beard power. Oh, also some coffee. We dip our beard in coffee.
Ha, nice beard.
The Michael Duke Show.
Okay, we're in the break right now. We're going to continue on this discussion here as we go through here. But I mean, this guy's his attitude on this whole thing is just so like, oh, it's
31 of those states.
Yeah, it's like, what was it? Here it is.
Joins us live here in the studio to
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Steve?
Well, that's right. Believe it or not, 46 states allow the open carry of a firearm, meaning the weapon is in plain view.
46 states allow believe it or not, it's so shocking, I tell you, that they just, believe it or not. Oh, man. There's some wild stuff that goes on here, and you could see it in these newscasters where they're just like, they don't understand. They just don't understand why they would need, why people would want that, or why people, they pay the lip service to it. They pay the lip service to it, but they don't go. Richie said, it sounds like this idiot was more interested in sending the look what I got message than being smart and responsible. I would say that is true of the Memphis case. I am not so sure if that is true in the Vegas case. Because the Vegas case has got, there's a little bit of backstory here about what goes on there. I don't know if we're going to have time to get to all that. I'm going to play that right now. This is what they found out about how it actually went down.
A statement from an AutoZone manager describes the moments leading up to the shooting. Christian Garcia Arvalo says he was assisting David, who was a former employee. He told detectives Kyle was wearing a pair of boxers, a T-shirt, and no shoes, and was heard mumbling unknown words and acting erratic. Having frequently dealt with the homeless population in the store, Christian and David approached Kyle and asked if he was okay. While speaking with Kyle, David had his hand atop of a holstered firearm on his right hip. Kyle acknowledged David's possession of a firearm and stated he didn't want any problems. As David removed his hand from hovering over the firearm, Kyle reached for David's firearm. A struggle over possession of the firearm ensued. Police say Capucci then wrestled the gun free and fired more than 10 shots, killing Carcamo.
So it didn't sound like he was trying to make a statement as much as he was trying to be responsible. But again, this is where retention is a plus. Retention is a plus in all of these situations, and the training to use it. I'll be honest with you, my hand probably wouldn't have left that firearm if I was open carrying at that point. It would not have left the firearm, even if he was uncomfortable, because again, and I probably wouldn't have situated myself close enough to him where he could, oh God, Frank's going to play devil's advocate. It seems you're saying you have a right to carry only if you are educated. No, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. I'm just saying if you want to be a responsible gun owner, you should probably educate yourself on some of these things. You have the right to do whatever you want. Again, I will say it again because I knew somebody was going to say it. There was some kind of restriction, I'm not saying restrict the right to carry at all. I think everybody should be allowed to carry. But I would say that if you are a responsible gun owner and you don't want situations like this to befall you, that you probably should, get a little education. I'm not saying it should be a requirement. I'm saying you probably should do it for the hell of it. That's what I'm saying. The hell of it. That's what it's all about. All right. Wow. Let me go back over here.
Educated gun owner.
And I see people open
seas.
All right. Let me go over here.
Things at all.
All right. Let me, I want to get started.
Retail stores.
And we'll start here. All right. I'm going to start right there. We're going to jump back into it. Here we go. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. Let's continue this conversation right now, shall we? Let's get to it. Here we go. I mean, right now.
What the hell's an assault weapon?
If we could just figure out how to get all of the murder guns and the attack guns and not keep selling those to people and just sell protection guns, I think that would be great and solve a lot of problems.
Does this mean that if we hurt your feelings, you'd consider the Michael Dukes Show assault radio? Okay, we can live with that. Here's Michael Dukes.
Yep. That's where we're at here. We're just we're all protection guns, no murder guns, all protection guns. We're talking about that age-old debate about open carry versus concealed carry. And I knew it was going to happen. And Frank, he did say he was playing devil's advocate, but he said, it seems like you're saying that you have a right to carry, open or not, only if you are educated. Does this then not play into the anti's games that you have to pass the test before carrying? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you want to be a responsible gun, I'm not saying you should restrict anybody from carrying. But if you want to be if you want to go the extra mile, if you want to be the shining beacon on the hill and the example of what a good gun owner should be like, you probably should get a little educated or get training or do all those things. That's probably what you should do. I'm not saying that, again, not saying it should be illegal. Again, we just finished up before we went to the break on the biggest problem with most people that I've seen that have to do with open carry.
As I go to retail places, restaurants, could even be retail stores.
Jeff Margetta is an educated gun owner.
And I see people open carry and they do not watch their surroundings at all.
But he's not always comfortable with what he sees.
And that's kind of a scary thought because someone could come up behind them, take their gun, and then they're liable for what happens.
Which is not true. If somebody takes your gun, I mean, that argument is false in and of itself. The situational awareness argument is 110% right on. If you're going to carry a gun, you should have situational awareness to begin with. If you're going to carry a gun in the open where everyone could see it, your situational awareness needs to be cranked up to 11. If I'm carrying a gun and it's under my coat and nobody can see it, then my situational awareness still needs to be, good. But if I have it on my hip in the open, I've got to be aware of everybody that's, especially people who are in line of sight of me, right? I've got to be like cranked up. Now, this idea that, the scary thing is somebody could take your weapon and use it, and that is a horrific thing. But you would not be liable. That'd be like somebody saying somebody stole your car and ran it into a crowd of people, and now you are responsible because a criminal broke the law and stole your car and ran it into a group of people. That's what he's saying there. I don't believe that is a, I don't believe that is a viable excuse. But again, the situational awareness, 110%.
While Metro has yet to reveal exactly how the suspect, 36-year-old Kyle Capucci, was able to use the victim's own pistol to kill him, firearms instructor Ken Ortega says what happened Friday is rare.
This is super important because, again, if the anti-gun folks want to take a situation like this and try and spin it out as if it happens every day, here's the truth.
Steve, it's not very often. There are only 2 documented open carry homicides that have happened in recent years. So it's really more the anomaly.
That's the thing. This doesn't happen all the time. Now, again, it could if people continue to make mistakes and do that, but they're acting like this is an everyday event. It's not. And we should prevent it from being an everyday event. But it's only happened, there's only 2 recorded open carry homicides in recent memory at this point.
So it's really more the anomaly.
Ortega says anyone who chooses to open carry responsibly needs a level 2 or level 3 retention holster, which prevents the pistol from being easily drawn by someone else.
Absolutely. A retention holster where it's either, the trigger guard one, which I don't recommend, or the one with the loop, with the thumb brake. There's one that's a twist retention that you can get. If you're going to open carry, you don't want people to be able to just reach over there and tug it out of your holster, right? You do not want, you want to be able to, and you should probably also take some classes on defensive hand-to-hand weapon. There's weapon retention training where they train you to struggle over a weapon, which just does not sound like fun to me. Just does not sound like a lot. I do not want to struggle hand-to-hand over a weapon that I brought with me. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
You have the trigger guard, which is 1 level. You have some kind of a retention device that you have to defeat, and you'll have a 3rd device that either you have to a hood over the back of the gun, or sometimes there are some that you have to twist the gun out.
So where is open carry legal? In general, restaurants and bars, with exceptions, in your car in plain view, state wildlife areas, and with exceptions, even places of worship. They've
got a whole bunch of places in Nevada where it's all legal to carry, open carry, and everything else. But what gets me is when these guys get down to the end and they're doing their recap, and they just, again, they're shocked.
So yes, you can open carry in Nevada, but back to our original question, should you? Firearms experts say that is a hard no unless you've been professionally trained and you know how to do it safely and obey the law.
Again, firearms expert, again, if you do you, boo, if you want to open carry, that's great. There shouldn't be a requirement for training. There shouldn't be any kind of restrictions on you. I am saying strictly from a perspective of a responsible gun owner, somebody who is going to advocate and be an example of what we should do with the Second Amendment, it's probably not a good idea for a variety of reasons, including tactical. But again, if you want to, I 110% support your right to do so. And, should you? Firearms experts say, well, I think what the firearms experts are saying is that most people are not going to take those steps to make sure they're safe. So their recommendation is to not do it. They're not saying making it illegal. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Also, the stigma that goes with the open carry, because there's a good chance if you do it, there'll be a lot of people around you who are uncomfortable, especially since we have so many people here from California, which is one of 4 states.
Who cares? Who cares if they, I mean, I understand it is a hearts and minds thing as well. There is a hearts and minds component to this deal where you're trying to, you're trying to bring people in and make them feel, you want to make people gun curious. You don't want to hurt their feels. But again, it's feelings. And who cares what people from California want? I mean, let me be honest with you. Who cares what people from how they feel? That's probably why they're there. They're fleeing California to begin with. You shouldn't care about whether or not it may hurt their feelings. If you are trying to be an ambassador, maybe you should care then. All right, we got to go. The Michael Duke Show, Common Sense Radio. It's yeah. David says driving is a privilege, not a right. If gun owners are required to be educated before being able to exercise their Second Amendment right, does that mean that only the educated would be allowed to exercise their First Amendment right? I agree with that, David. I think you're 100% right. There should be no restrictions. I'm saying, though, if you want to be, there should be no legal restrictions. That doesn't prevent you from wanting to go the extra mile, right? That should not be part of the process, part of the problem. You should get educated as to why, and you should make a choice. What are my best practices here? What are the best practices and the things that I can do? You know what you need to be doing. Absolutely, you know what you need to be doing. All right. I prefer concealed, says Melissa. I'm always armed. You'd never know it. Yeah. I mean, I always thought that the concealed carry was always the better option because, again, you never know. You never know if somebody is carrying or not carrying. It is the great deterrent. And in fact, in my mind, it's a greater deterrent than seeing one guy armed. If there's 10 people in the room and it's concealed carry state where they have like a 30% concealed carry, quotient, but you see one guy open carry and the other 10 guys, other 9 guys you just go, I wonder how many more. You don't know. You just don't know. We'll see. Harold's over here entertaining himself because obviously he can't read the room. Anthony said, if you're open carrying or in a threat scenario and you let someone get within 6 feet of your immediate area, you've already lost the battle. They've tested this extensively. Someone can close the gap faster than you can get it out of the holster 90% of the time. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I would have never taken my hand off the holster. In fact, I probably would have repositioned myself. Now that he's made me aware that he's aware of the firearm, I probably would have repositioned myself so that my dominant side with the firearm was away from him and out of his line of sight. That's what I would have done. But, Miguel says, in Alaska, I just assume everyone's carrying. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good guess. Probably a pretty good guess for that right there. 110%. 110%. But again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't open carry, but if you do, you probably should take some steps to protect yourself and others. Again, situational awareness is a big deal. That is the number one. Number 2, retention holsters. Yes, you should have a high retention holster, level 2 or level 3. Which is a lot different than what a lot of us concealed carry holders carry because it's under the coat. Nobody knows about it. It retains, but it's not that level of retention. But yeah, this is a thing. This is a thing. I'm just going back here. See if there's anything else I missed. Common sense. It isn't very common anymore, says Sears. Yeah, turn your body so the gun is out of sight and should have stood back a lot further in that scenario. Yeah, and again, we can Monday morning quarterback this whole thing and all that kind of stuff, but the bottom line is, we should be paying attention. And if you're going to go out there and you're going to open carry, you need to take it to the next level. That's your responsibility as a good gun owner. Again, not saying that it should be a requirement, but if you want to do it the right way, there you go. That's the thing. All right. What do we got here? We are down to the last, we got the last segment. Willie's calling in. My phone is connected. Are we connected? Yes, everything's connected. And we are ready to go. Willie Waffle, wafflemovies.com, followed by the big radio auction. That's right. Kicking off at 8:04 a.m. There you go. Let's jump back into it. We'll get things ready. I have access to all the guns I need. I call 911 and all the guns I need show up. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad that's 7 minutes of your life in between the time you call and the time they show up. I'm glad you're covered, Harold. Keep being you, baby. Keep being you. That makes total sense. All right, let's get to it. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. Here we go. Okay. It's the weekend. It's about to be the weekend. I don't know. It's something like that. All I know is that there's this guy on my phone from New York, and he wants to talk to me about movies. I don't know why. It's weird. It's just weird. Calls me from. Are you calling to talk to me about my car's auto insurance? What are you extended warranty? What are you here to talk about?
I'd like to tell you about how movies can save your life this weekend. Can really open up new doors for you, new horizons, new happiness.
Yeah, give you
new peace and love,
new perspective on things. Like after you spend all that time in prison, you get all that. All right. Well, it's Firearms Friday, so I suppose we should start off with Rust, which is out.
Yeah, if you want.
It's out.
Yeah.
Okay, right. It's out.
It's out. You can get it on video on demand if you wanted to spend the money. I've been tempted to do it, but there's a part of me that feels like it's wrong. Like it's wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Jensen Ackles as an actor, and so I want to see him in it. But I might wait until it hits the stream without having to pay the fee. You know what I mean?
I don't even know if they have a deal with a streamer yet, because this thing is like
radioactive.
Well, you kind of heard, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like plutonium. Nobody wants to hold the hot potato. Yeah.
Nobody wants to hold it.
But Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the armorer on the set who took the fall for the whole deal, she is out of prison.
Yeah, slipped out of prison. Well, and that's slipped. That's not that would imply that she snuck out. She walked out through the front door. Happened over the Memorial Day weekend. And she was released. She has served her full 18-month sentence for involuntary manslaughter. She was released from the New Mexico prison, and she's out. Now, she's still appealing the decision. So she's hoping to at least get the conviction off of her record.
Right.
Because let's face it, being a convict makes it very hard to find a job. Now, she's going to be on parole. She has to go through mental health assessments, and she has a prohibition on ever owning or possessing firearms while she's on parole.
Yeah. That's kind of it's kind of a tough deal, but at the same time, once you've paid your debt to society, I think that should kind of get wiped away. But we'll see. She's still appealing the decision, and New Mexico did such a messy job with that whole thing. We'll see what happens. We'll see how the tables will turn on that. But she's out. The movie's out. Everybody's out. We'll see how it goes from there. All right. You were telling me, you teased me. You said there's a bunch of perverts. Yeah. There's a bunch of perverts who are after Sydney Sweeney, and I was like, Sydney who? Sydney what? What are you talking about? What's going on?
we are talking about Sydney Sweeney, the woman who is maybe one of the most it girls of the day right now, my friend.
Okay.
She has one of the hottest careers you have ever seen in a long time, and she's quite attractive. I don't know if you know this, but very attractive.
Okay.
Well, get ready. She has a deal with a soap company. I'm not going to name them because, well, they don't pay me to advertise them. So they might as well just, pay for their own advertising. But she is the spokesperson for this company.
Okay.
And she recently made an ad for them where she was very alluringly in a bathtub.
Right.
Well, they have taken all the water out of that bathtub and they have put it into a special brand of soap, Sydney Sweeney's bathwater soap, that they are going to release as a special small one-off brand that they will be selling to all the perverts who want Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. Yes, it's happening. It's happening. I think it's like next Friday. And I don't even want to imagine what the prices are going to soar to.
Right.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know somebody who bought it. I don't want to know somebody who's like, that sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah.
And frankly, I hope that I'm the first person who ever tells you about this, because if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, did you hear about Sydney Sweeney? I'm going to be like, how did you hear about it? Because at least my job is about following this stuff.
This is why we are doomed as a species. I'm just telling you right now. This is right here. This is proof positive that we are doomed. I mean, anytime you're like, oh, you got a bunch of used bathwater with dead skin cells and all the other and you're going to make soap out of it, that sounds like a great deal. I'll take 3 bars. Thanks.
Exactly. Well, and my first thought, and because I'm crazy, my first thought was, oh dear God, I hope some idiot doesn't find a way to get her DNA out of the soap bar and all of a sudden we have a Jurassic Park situation. We can't have this, okay? We can't have weird science coming true in real life. And for those of you who remember that movie, thank you for riding along with me on that statement.
I mean, and it's like, what does it smell like? Now you got me curious.
It smells very sweet and wonderful and fresh.
I'm sure.
Very natural.
Again, we're doomed. We are doomed. That's how.
This is like everything that is wrong with society in 2025 in one story.
Yeah, this is it. This is why we are wrong as a species right here. Yeah. All right. Well, great. That's something to look forward to for your kids to look back and say, was that the beginning of the end? You'd be like, yep, that was the beginning of the end right there.
I was there, my friends.
All right, what else we got here? We got reality stars are going to be pardoned by the president because of course they are. What?
Yes. So and it has happened. Todd and Julie Chrisley from Chrisley Knows Best, the program that used to air on USA Network, have been pardoned by President Trump. They were freed just the other day. They are back with their family. Their daughter, Savannah, got the call from the president on Tuesday. And, she has been a big supporter of his. She has appeared at the Republican National Convention, has campaigned for him. And his mother, or her mother and father, have been sprung from the Huskow. Now, you might be asking, what did they do? Okay, so for those who don't know, they were accused and found guilty of submitting fake documents to banks to secure loans that were exceeding $30 million. Then they declared bankruptcy. So they were hit with fraud and tax evasion. And listen, I'm not taking a political stand on this. I'm not making any kind of comment other than I'm like, man, isn't this what Trump was accused of? Yeah. And now all of a sudden he's pardoning these people. So I'm like, dude.
All I can think of is if any of this is true, then how did you think you were going to get away with it? I always wonder about that when I see people do this. I'm like, in this interconnected world, how did you think you were going to get away with? Oh, we'll just put fake documents in, and then how are you going to pay it back? And you were going to bank? I mean, how? I don't see. Right. I don't see it. I don't see how people think that they're, unless it is the whole thing was a hit job. I don't know. I've never heard of this case before, but at some point I'm just kind of going, huh? That's kind of weird.
Yeah. But hey, they're out now, and if there's anything I know about this world, and again, another sign that the apocalypse is nigh in 2025.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do I have a bad feeling that their program will be coming back somewhere, somehow, on streaming or someplace? Because, we got to see them rebuild their lives, now that they're, well, actually, they're technically not ex-cons. Wait, if they're pardoned, does they get wiped off of their record?
They're done. Yeah, they're done. Yeah, at that point.
Yep.
Okay, well, apparently it's not what you know, it's who you know. Speaking of which,
it doesn't hurt.
Speaking of which, I know Hugh Jackman, but I don't know his wife. Apparently, he doesn't either anymore. They've just officially split the sheets. But they've been talking about this for like 3 years or something now, right? I mean, this has been going on for a while, but it's official now.
It's official now. So, Hugh Jackman and his wife, Deborah Lee Furness, married back in 1996. She was a little bit older than him, and it was there were people who are very vain who say, why was this hot young guy married to this older woman? Well, hey, it lasted. I mean, they got married in 1996. They were together before then. They really didn't start to split until 2023. And, they had reached what was billed as a very amicable separation. The last couple of years, it was the lawyers figuring out, well, what are the spousal payments going to be and how are they going to split up property and things like that. And the motion for divorce was filed in the court in New York. Basically, it was said that it's going to be quick and easy. There's already an agreement in place. Everything's fine. And as soon as the agreement was in place and filed in the court, Deborah Lee Furness came out and said, I feel free from the betrayal that I had to go through. And everybody's jaws dropped like, dude, you're not playing nice now, are you?
Yeah, no.
And what she was alluding to is that the rumor that had been going on is that you started dating one of his co-stars on Broadway, and they are together. They are together today. They say, hey, they got together like after the split. Like that wasn't the cause of the split. Hey, whatever. But his wife sure made it sound like that was the cause, and laid him out. And I think Hugh Jackman was smart. He went, I already got a deal. I can live through a couple of days of bad press.
Yeah.
Life goes on.
Right. Exactly. And if you can do the math, I didn't start seeing this chick till after we announced we were getting divorced. So there you go.
That's right. That's right.
Whatever. I mean, just at this point, I just roll my eyes and go, again, doomed as a species. That's all we can say right there. All right, let's get over to the movies and everything like that. We got Karate Kid Legends. Ooh. Then we got the Netflix miniseries Cold Case, and then we've got Better Sisters, a video series on Prime. Where do you want to start?
Let's talk about the Karate Kid. Let's talk about it. Right, this is your big theatrical release this week. Karate Kid Legends. Why? It brings together Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, the two different Karate Kid versions that we've seen out there, and they have to join forces. But it takes them a whole long time to join forces in this movie, dude. Let me tell you something, okay? So, the story is, a young student of Jackie Chan's, has suffered horrible tragedy. His family had something really horrible happen. His mother decides that they need a fresh start, and they're going to move from Beijing, China, to New York, New York. And of course, once he's there, and this is going to sound familiar, the new kid in town runs along the wrong side of the local karate club that has a big tournament, and well, he's going to have to fight his bully to save the day. And who's going to train him, my friends? Who's going to help him become the champion that he needs to be? That's right, Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio.
Okay. All right. So you got a Chinese guy with the Japanese martial art with a Japanese guy. I can't even keep track of it all right now. All right. Well, you watched it. You've seen the Cobra Kai thing on top of everything else. Is this all in the same universe or is this a different deal?
Well, yeah, so it's supposed to be the same universe as Cobra Kai. These are things that have happened since Cobra Kai ended. So, it's Ralph Macchio and everything that we saw him go through in Cobra Kai, he has gone through. Jackie Chan with his Karate Kid movie that came out, 2011, everything he's been through. The problem is it's just kind of dull. And it's funny you mentioned Cobra Kai, because Cobra Kai was fun. Cobra Kai was revisiting something that we loved and did it with its tongue in its cheek and gave us all sorts of crazy soap opera stories that we were along for the ride because you know what? I'm having a good time. And this movie lacks a good time. It's too serious. Everybody's he's trying to overcome tragedy. He's haunted by something horrible that happened. Oh, he's fighting the big bully. He's going to have to learn something new in order to overcome the disadvantage. Whatever, man. Okay? I'm done.
Whatever.
Give me something more exciting.
-1 to 4 waffles. Where are we at?
I'm at like 1.5 waffles.
Oh.
I was so disappointed, and it's so choppy. It's a choppy movie. Like it just feels like they put clips together instead of telling me a story. It's almost like we'll have this really cool scene where they're sitting there eating pizza.
Right.
We'll have this really cool scene where they're training on top of the roof, and it doesn't really flow together very well. So that's what really hurts the most.
All right. Well, that takes us over to the other two. We got about 2 minutes, so give it to me quick.
Okay. I'll go fast. The Better Sister on Amazon Prime. It's a new series. In the spirit of crime and drama, we've got Chloe, played by Jessica Biel, Elizabeth Banks, the other sister. One's had a good life, one's kind of not having a good life, and a husband is murdered, and the two of them kind of team up to try to figure out who's the killer of the one sister's husband. It wants to be too much. Like it wants to be a courtroom drama. It wants to be like, about sisters finding each other and loving each other again. It's about the kid having troubles. I get bored. It loses the plot. It's all over the place. It's 1.5 waffles.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Which takes us to the final one, Cold Case, the Tylenol murders. We got a minute here.
Okay. 3 episodes on Netflix. Each one's about 45 minutes. And it is a look at the Tylenol poisoning case from 1982. And, the first episode is kind of like reviewing the story, get you up to speed if you weren't familiar with what happened. The second is they start looking at the main suspect, a guy by the name of James Lewis. The third episode is other possibilities, like who else may have been who else might have done this.
Right.
Was it multiple cases, maybe not all tied together, maybe individual actors? Hey, was Tylenol always telling the truth? And they start getting into some of that, and I feel like they need to back up a lot of that with more evidence. I'm at like 3 waffles though. I think it's a pretty interesting look at a case. Yep.
Well, which they again still haven't solved, one of the biggest unsolved national cases in history. Interesting to watch. I'm sure Terry will watch it and tell me all about it. The Tylenol murders, Cold Case, Netflix. All right, Willie Waffle, wafflemovies.com. We are out of time, folks. We will see you Monday. Be kind, love one another, live well. We'll see you then. Have a great weekend.
We've shed our terrestrial radio skin, and now we are slimy lizard internet people. It's the Michael Duke Show.